Hey, it's Cinespirit here. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different tutorial. It's going to be focusing on creating a network attached storage, so pretty much a DIY NAS. So this NAS is going to be focusing on using sort of like equipment that you can just find around the house rather than some £100 NAS, like an Android TV box, maybe a Raspberry Pi if you've got one going, and some external hard drives that are connected by USB. With that, we're going to install a Linux distro on, for example, my Android TV box, and then we're going to install onto the Linux distro the Samba NAS. So this is a fully customizable NAS. It's free, and you can just download it, install it, and connect it to your network, and you have storage for all your projects, all your files, for your family if they want to have a go. But it's quite simple to do. I haven't seen it really covered that much, so this will be something quite new maybe that will be really easy, quick, that, for anyone who just wants, file storage attached to their network, so pretty much like a cloud. So come with me and we'll go sort this out.
So to create our Samba NAS, we require 3 items. These include an Android TV box, which is capable of Linux OS, as well as having USB either 2.0 or 3.0 ports, and having an SD card slot. The second item is an SD card, which is class 10 and has 8GB minimum storage. And third, lastly, a USB hard drive. This could either be a 3.5 or a 2.5 inch HD or SSD, and recommended probably about 500 gigabytes, so that you have enough storage for all of your files. So let's go to the desktop and start configuring the system. So we're on the desktop. Once you've put the SD card into the SD card reader, we're going to go to File Explorer, this PC, and check that the SD card reader is active, and we want it formatted in FAT32 so that we can install the Linux distro onto the SD card. The Linux distro we're going to be downloading is going to be specific to the MXQ box, the Android TV box. For other devices that you're going to use to create the Samba server, you like a Raspberry Pi, any of those, or any other types of boxes, you will need the Linux operating system that is related and will work on that system. So for this one, we need one that fits on the S805 ARM processor. That will be located in the link that I'll provide in the description. Here you'll find the link, I've already gone into it. So we want to go to, it'll say Armbian, and then we'll want to go to Armbian there, Linux 5.44, and then the one I think works correctly is, well, works for me at least, is the Ubuntu Mate 3.10. So download this one, you can download it here. Once that's downloaded, you'll get a file like this. It's an XZ file, so this isn't the image file. You'll want to open that up and then just extract it. So once the file is extracted, we'll exit here, and then we'll have the image file just on our desktop. Now we're going to need to download something called Win32. I'll put the link down in the description. This will allow us to write this image file onto our SD card. So let me type this in now. Obviously first you want to go to File Explorer, this PC, and like I said before, just format, double check you've got it in FAT32, and click Start. Click one of these, click Start there. With Win32 Disk Imager open, we're going to want to find the image file. So click on the folder, go to desktop, that's where I've got it located, click on the image, open, that's great. Make sure you've got the correct device allocated to the image file, because otherwise you might install it on another removable SD card maybe, or something that you've got in your system at the time, which would not be great. So after that, should be all good, and we can write it. Hopefully there's no errors. Just click yes here. It'll just say if you want to, make sure you want to do this. Click yes, and it will write the data to the card. This could take a while. A lot of these processes take a little while just because there's a lot of writing data back and forth. So this is about to complete with no errors, hopefully. Yep, write successful, great. So let's exit the Win32 disk imager. The next part we're going to do is something specific just for this distribution of Linux and on this this device that we're using. So go to this PC. You'll see it's created two formats. We'll have your USB drive or your other drive that doesn't come up as anything because it's FAT32, but then you have a boot drive, so it separates it into two. This boot drive's like says there, about 127 megabytes. You want to go into the boot drive. You'll see all these files here. Don't worry about any of these. Then you can go to the DTB 3.10, go in there, and you'll want to choose one of these files. I find that this one here, the third down for everyone, I believe, it works the best. So let's just copy this and put it into the boot file here, and we'll want to change this to DTB and then change the file type to image and select yes to change that. This allows it to boot up the image from the SD card on your Android TV box instead of going straight to the Android TV operating system. It kind of works how like a layer on top of the original operating system. So the next thing we're going to do is take out the SD card and place that into the Android TV box and set it up. So we've plugged in and turned on our Android TV box. The next thing we're going to do is download an SSH software. I use something called Putty. This is so that we can SSH straight into the Android TV box as long as you have it set up with an Ethernet cable. So we're going to log into the Raspberry Pi or Android TV box using Putty. So if we click that, it's open, you've downloaded it. We're going to want to put in the host name or the IP address. So to find the IP address of your Raspberry Pi or your Android TV box, you'll want to go to your network settings, so to your router settings, and then on there you can see all the different devices that are linked up to your internet. So that will be your Android TV box, and then in there there'll be a local IP address for it. So for this one it's 192.168.1.111, and then that's port 22, then I want to save this as NAS server and save that. So we've got our NAS server there, load, and let's open it. So now we're going to log in. So for me on this, we want to log in as root. So click root, and then the password, the default password will be 1234. And there we are. Now as this is the first time we're logging in, it's going to ask us to put in a new password. So the current one is 1234, and then enter a new password, retype the new password. It's too simple, so I've got to type in a different one. There we are. Even this has restrictions on what passwords you can use. So here we are. Now I want to provide a username just to set it up, so I'm going to put Cinespirit. There we go. There we are. Enter new password for this. So this one could be a bit too simple as well. Oh no, that's fine. So full name, Thinny. You can leave these things unless you want to put their information in there, but for testing purposes we don't need to. Press yes. Successful rebooting the system, so we're going to lose connection. I have it connected to this other screen to the left so I can see what's happening. So let's relaunch that again, and we have it saved. So it started. Let's log in. So I'm going to log in as root again because this just gives us admin access, which is what we want, not to have to fiddle around with any hassles. So we're in, it's all set up, the system's been set up, and now we have Ubuntu installed onto our Raspberry Pi or Android TV box. So we have our system set up. The next thing we're going to do is with any Linux distro is update the system. So to do this, we're going to type in sudo apt update. Okay, so that's done. That updates all the system information and all the system applications and any drivers or anything like that. So once we've done that, we can next go to sudo apt upgrade, where it will download and upgrade everything to the latest version. But currently, as we're just going to be using this as a test version, there's really no point doing that, because that can take, and especially for this, it does take, you know, about half an hour longer. So next we're going to install Samba onto the Linux operating system. To do this, we'll type in sudo apt install Samba, and then let's have it saved to Samba common bin, like that, and then press enter. This will install the package. Unable to locate Samba. That's because I spelt it wrong there. Common bin, there we are. So this will install the package. Do you want to continue? Yes. Here we go. So there we go. Samba is now installed. You have that on your Linux system. The next part we're going to do is mount the drive, the external drive that we're going to be using, so my 500 gigabyte, to the actual Android box, or your Raspberry Pi. It's through USB for me, and it doesn't require an external power, so it will just power itself through the USB. To do this, we're going to have to type in sudo mkdir, and then we want to select the drive 1. Well, I'm just going to type in drive 1. This is the best thing to do. That will give that will create that directory, and then we want to give access to that directory. So we want to go sudo chmod r775, and then the directory that we're giving it to, drive 1. There we go. We've got that there. And now let's list the disks so we can see the actual disk, because we want to mount it. We've created the directory, and now we want to mount the actual hard drive. So to do this, we'll go sudo f disk -1. Sometimes you'll get this here. For some reason it doesn't accept it when you do it like that. But then if you copy the text that I'll put in below into the system, into the console, type that, and then press enter. Here we are, you'll get all the disks listed. Your best bet's to go up to the top, and you want to see in devices, you want to look for this, and it says dev SDA1, and it's 465 gigabytes. Not too sure why it's not saying 500. I think there's just some system stuff on there, but we're going to use that device for now. And you can see there's SDA1, and you want to make sure you have that recognized, because if you have multiple, depending on how many USBs you have, you could have multiple drives listed. So to mount this partition, we're going to type in sudo mount dev SDA1 drive 1, and there we go, we have it mounted. And this is all you have to do with this hard drive. The next part, we're going to configure the actual Samba system so that we can share a location and give some permissions. So to access the permissions file, we're going to need to type in sudo nano /etc samba, and then smb.conf. Here we go, and now we have this configurations file that's been populated. We want to click page down so we can get to the bottom, and then we're at the bottom here. Then we're going to need to copy and paste in, or you can write in, the information that is going to be used to define our NAS. So I'm going to paste it in here. I'll put this in the description so you can just copy and paste it in, and I'll go over all the sections now. We have the name up here, so you want to type that to whatever you want. So I'm going to call it my Samba NAS. Oops, Samba NAS, and then comment, that's just what it is. It's your Samba share. your path. This is the next important part, and that's where you want to list this as your drive 1, because that's where you're going to be accessing or storing, should I say, all your files, and then you can create folders inside there that are accessible, browsable. You want to make sure that people can browse it and write in it, that it's not only accessible to just guests. Create a mask, that's for the internet. Make sure it's public. Yes, well, you don't have to, but for me, yes, it'd be great if it's public because it's being used internally for home. And guest okay, so that means that someone doesn't have to have an account so that they can access the Samba NAS. They can actually just view the stuff. They can't make any edits, but they can view all your files and everything like that. So to save this, we're going to go Control X and click Y for yes, and then press enter. So now your Samba is all configured and everything should be working. But now we're going to need to reboot the Samba NAS. So let's type in sudo service and smbd restart. This is just restarting the system, not the Linux system, but just the application. So that should go through, and there we go, that's restarted. So the last element we need to do for our Samba NAS is to add a user. So this user will be able to access the file system. So for example, we have a guest account, which means that they can view everything, but to access and edit files and create new folders and import and export, you need to create a user. So to do this, we'll type in sudo smb password -a, and then type in Cinespirit. There we go. Type in the password. Type in the password. There we are, added user Cinespirit. So if you want to add any other users, you have to create an actual user for the Linux system. So now we're going to need to connect our PC to our Samba server. To do this, we'll have to go down to File Explorer, then to this PC, and then we want to find up on the Computer tab Map Network Drive. Click on Map Network Drive, and then you'll see this pop up. Here you'll see either which drive number you want to select it, or sorry, letter you want to select it to. Z will be fine, and then the folder. So this is where we're going to put in examples. Well, not an example. We're going to put in our Raspberry Pi or Android TV box's name, so the name of the actual device, as well as the name that we gave our Samba server, which we listed in the config file. So for us, we're going to have to type in /Vegas 805 and then one / then. The 805 is the chipset, the Vegas is the name of the box. And then after that, we're going to want to type in Samba and NAS. And we'll leave that open. This is all really you want to type in because we mounted earlier the hard drive as our main location, our main folder location. So we'll instantly go to that as our storage area, bypassing the internal storage. So hopefully, if you press finish, leave everything as it is there. If you want to connect in with different credentials, for example, maybe the things that we set up earlier, you can, and reconnect at sign in. When you launch your PC, you can click that, but for now, we'll just click finish, and you should see this pop up, and this will be your network attached storage. So if we go back to this PC, you'll see, here we go, at the bottom, network locations, and then you have what looks like a hard drive, your network location, 465 gigabytes on my hard drive, and inside, which just popped up, you'll have probably no folders. You might have the system volume information. This is just system settings, but you should have, I added video earlier, so I can get rid of that, and then I can put in a folder, call that, I don't know, images, and then anything else, and you can just add that in, and you can connect up to different computers into this one system. And that's really how you're able to access your network drive from any PC. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hopefully you were able to set it all up, and you'll probably want to go more expansive with larger systems and more hard drives. This is just for your basic, maybe file sharing, or basic video images, sort of sharing around your home network. But that's how to do it for very cheap, really quickly. Thanks, and see you soon.